Let's take a look at your OPS leaders so far in 2026. Yordan Alvarez, it's well over 1,000. By the way, he went deep twice.
You see him last night?
Yeah. 2 homers and a loss. You got Ben Rice, Corbin Carroll, and sandwiched between Rice and Carroll is JJ Bleday of the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds, of course, are in town taking on the New York Mets. They have won 3 in a row, and JJ joins us in studio. How are you, JJ?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
When you consider the journey that you have experienced in professional baseball, a top 5 pick, the Reds, now your 3rd organization, to have this success now, what does it mean?
I mean, it means a great deal. You know, it's obviously been kind of slow. There's been some successes with Oakland, but you know, I'm just glad to be here with the Reds and get a fresh start somewhere else.
Why were the Reds the right fit for you? You signed a 1-year deal with them in the offseason, and by the way, that's looking like a very, very good move on both parties. But why was Cincinnati the move for you?
You know, one was location. It's closer to the East Coast for my family to travel. And then just the opportunity. I could see myself playing here in the stadium, and it's a good lefty hitter's ballpark. And I just thought it was a good fit.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys
I want to cook with you.
Talk some hitting.
I want to cook with you because we talk about this all the time. To get drafted in the first round is difficult to do in the last 10, 15 years, just so many eyeballs. You go 4th overall coming out of Vanderbilt and dominated. So walk me through kind of the mindset of the grind to the big leagues. Like Robert's saying, not everything is just a straight shot. You came out with the Marlins, 4th overall pick, probably put a ton of pressure on yourself. Walk me through some of those moments in the minor leagues, like the come to Jesus, where you're just like, I'm going to keep grinding at this. I know it's going to unlock at some point. Yeah.
With Miami, you know, I had plenty of opportunities in the minor leagues, and you know, for whatever reason, it didn't really click there. But
did they try and change? I always wondered, did they ever try and change your swing at all when you signed?
Yes and no. You know, there was a lot of hands on me, and you know, it's tough, you know, picking that one voice to listen to. And that was kind of still the era of like launch, you know, launch angle. So, but you know, there's natural launch and lift in my swing. So to me, it was more, how can we get the consistency of just putting the bat on the ball? Because I've always had the eye. I've always been able to control the at-bat and get deep in counts. But it's just, how can we get those misses at the heart of the plate more in play?
And it felt like last year with the A's, you were doing that.
I wouldn't say last year, but the year before. 24 was my best season in the big leagues. And you know, we as players, we always want to get better. You're like, I want to do more, you know, and I left some on the table. So I go back to the drawing board before the 25 season, and I'm like, I'm going to simplify even more.
I know.
And sometimes the simplification will hinder the athleticism, and I think that's what happened last year. And this year, I've changed back to being a little bit more fluid, be a little bit more
athletic. Yeah. But I think there's something we'll talk about it at the end of this, because I think you can take that with the A's, almost like use that as a 2-strike approach.
Exactly.
That wider. And so I want to go through yesterday. You had 3 knocks yesterday. Off Peterson. We're going to love on you. We can run the tape. We're going to go through some at-bats, your homer against Kiter Montero. I mean, as soon as you show up, you go deep. That had to feel good. And there you are back in Vandy.
Yeah.
Why 51?
Corbs gave it to me, and I just kind of rolled with it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so pause this right here. David Peterson, left on left. You ever have you change the mindset left on left?
No, I've always been pretty comfortable left on left. And again, it's just kind of get there early, get to a spot, and get something hit to drive through the middle of the field.
Are you telling yourself front shoulder, stay square?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'm saying, you know, I want to stay in that left center gap, and when I pull it, I pull it.
So one at bat leads to the next. Run this back. You're a little out in front on that first one. You throw the little bullet over the second baseman's head. You come up, you stay back a little deeper and shoot this. You're running to first base. That feels good.
Oh, that felt really good. Yeah. I think Dane just hit a first pitch hit after that, or before me as well.
All right, so pause this real quick. You get called up. It's the 26th of April, I believe. Yep, April 26th. You're facing Montero. Any history here?
No, first time, I believe.
All right,
and I got down 0-2 right away.
I know. So walk me through this at bat, and then walk me through rounding the bases.
So I get down 0-2 early. And
little backdoor cutter, slider.
and you know, he threw that heater up there. So I knew he was going to eventually try to go back to that.
Right.
And
you scrambled it right there.
Exactly. I'm like, let's see it deep. And there you go. He made the mistake and was able to kind of get on top of that.
So once you foul that little backdoor slider off, you know you got him.
Yeah, because in that 0-2 mode, you're just compete, you know, try to keep seeing another pitch.
Little breaking ball down right here. This is a good AB. So run that back to start.
Yeah.
Pause this. Jim Edmonds was the only guy I ever played with. When I stood on deck with him, he would say, if he throws me a first pitch off speed, I'm going to take a bad swing on it to get it later in the AB. I know you're probably not doing that here, but soon as you balk at this 0-0,
yeah,
run this. Now, he's going back to it at some point. He goes back to it 1-1. Good.
Yeah.
That ball is smoke.
That one felt good, yeah. that was just, you know, he throws it again, you see it, you know, and that one was just more in the zone.
What are you thinking with Tyone here? Because he just leaves a changeup. Oh, my.
I think just wait him out, be patient for that. That's kind of what I was thinking. Because he's a good pitcher. He's going to, you know, try to command that outer half.
Left on left. No one's taking Foster Griffin deep this year, except you.
He's got some good stuff.
All right, here's Nolan McLean. Pause this. 1-0 right here. Are you all in on a heater?
I'm geared up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you always on the heater? Are you a thinking man's hitter? Are you trying to eliminate pitches?
It changes every day. It changes pitch by pitch, but for the most part, I'm always trying to be on time for velocity. For sure.
You were on time with Nolan right here.
And he's got a good sinker, so
yeah.
You know, and he just, you know, made a mistake. So it's just kind of just be impatient, wait for that ball out over the plate.
All right, so pause this. Roy, bring up the bat speed board, because I thought this was interesting. Eric Nay's researcher to the Stars said, D-Row, you got to ask him about his bat speed. Average bat speed in 2025, 71.7 now in 2026. It's the second biggest increase in baseball, your bat speed. But you're telling me, talking to you, you think you were just taking your athleticism away from you being wide.
Yeah, so in 25 last year, like I would get down almost too early.
Yeah.
And then it would be like a double load. So it's like, you know, and then you get rotational and you're just limiting that fluidity of it being in the zone.
I love this.
And, you know, credit to my daughter, too. I think the dad strength might have helped. Finally came in.
All right, give us the side angle of the homer against McLean. Oh, all right, so no one wants to hear what my career was hitting-wise, but I was a guy, we were talking about it, that came off his backside, and when I eventually went to Texas, the toe tap, like, changed my career, right?
Yeah,
So watching you this year run this, just that little step, man. And run it back, and I just want you to walk me through what you're thinking, why you got to this point.
Yeah, so with the Marlins, I had a huge leg kick, but with the leg kick...
Bring up the tri-screen, because we have it.
Okay.
It's the next board. Run this, and then get me to the 3x3. All right, here we go. 2022. Get him to his leg kick.
So with the leg kick, I would get stuck on my backside too much, or I would fall forward. So it was just tough to control, you know, like there was no...
Pause.
It would feel good one week, you know,
I
you
know.
feel like, oh, I can hit everything one week, and then the timing changes.
And the deception of the pitcher, different arm angles. I had a ton of problems trying to get this down.
Yeah, and ideally, like, I would love the leg kick, but it's just too hard to repeat. So I go down to the toe early to help with head movement, to help, you know, get more consistent. And then, you know, I show up to spring training kind of doing, you know, flowing into a toe down early and then, you know, letting it go. But my body was just kind of wanting to naturally get into that move. And I have done that before, but I'm like, you know what? I'm getting good results. I feel good when I'm doing the toe tap. So I'm just going to roll with it. And it's just a byproduct, I think, of my body wanting to have that.
Are you thinking about the tap more as a timing thing, or are you thinking about engaging your backside?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Definitely a timing mechanism, because if you see guys like Vladdy with it, Vladdy's very early, and he's going, and I think kind of trying to do the same thing, just be uncomfortably early, and then just engage, because I like to be in my legs. Like I'm a leg type hitter.
Yeah.
I can't be really up, narrow and upright.
Yeah.
So if it just helps me get into that hip, sit back, hold that coil, and then shoot out the center.
I think eventually you could count leverage, do the tap, and you get to a point where you did this in 25.
Yeah.
Take the movement out. And I'll sit here all day and talk to you about it. But we got white hot questions.
That's right. That's right. We notice here on this photo that you've got the goatee. Your wife was saying she's not a fan of it, but when you're getting knocks,
Yeah.
when you're getting knocks, you got to leave it, right?
Correct, 100%.